Hello. I'm going live early since I'm using my good microphone now to see if my volume levels are good so we can test this while I'm doing my other stuff. So tell me, how's my microphone level with this? Tell me. I don't have TikTok on yet, just you all. How's my microphone level? Then we'll talk about shirts. Anybody? Hello? Okay. And if I'm in my loud voice talking like this, is it too loud or is it like normal, good, whatever? Yeah? All right. Okay, just double checking I've got the right. Yep. So as I was saying, this is my fancy microphone, my Joe Rogan microphone. For you all, I've decided to move it over. My dining room table is now 100% crap for this broadcast. Anyway, I figured I'll talk to you guys for a minute to let this come on, and then I'll turn on TikTok because I think the TikTok crowd gets a little more annoyed when we wait for 5 minutes. So if I start early with you, maybe that'll work better. I am on early with my new fancy microphone. And my sister got me. Dun, 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 dun. And it's accurate from what I can tell. So I finally can point out Severodonetsk, Kherson, Mariupol. Lots of fun. It's a good t-shirt. I told her I need like 12 of them now. I'm considering actually putting it like on a board or something because it's good. But no, I've got to get a map. It is a great shirt though. And it actually fits. Like, I'm shocked because it actually fits well, which is unheard of for any kind of a shirt like this, you know, but it actually fits and it works well. So yes, I'm going to be standing up doing my map. Anyway, and you get to see me point to my nipple, which is Kharkiv. Yes, Kharkiv is my nipple. Oh, well, the strange things we do. Oh, that's right. The jokes. I haven't updated the jokes, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some people who haven't seen the jokes yesterday. All right. I'm going to start TikTok and we'll let that go for a couple of minutes as we're doing this. Put on my microphone. Put on my microphone for TikTok. My multi-mics. Boom. All right. Let's see where TikTok is. Hey, Amanda. Welcome. And Lola, you're the first two joining us. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fantasy Island. Hey, Texas. Okay, guys. Yeah, I keep forgetting. We were already chatting with everybody. Radoslav, good to see you. As always, say where you're from, if you would, for folks. Thank you. I was just showing the shirt to the YouTube gang. It is my map accurate, from what I can tell, map of Ukraine. So now I can actually tell people Kharkiv, Severodonetsk in the east, Kherson, touching my mic, Kherson, all sorts of important places I can show you now. So I'm very excited. Ooh. Anyway, guys, yeah, so we take the first couple of minutes, you guys know, just to sort of introduce yourselves. That way it gives a couple minutes for people to get the notification on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and everywhere else. Yeah, no, and I'm using my fancy mic for the YouTube crowd. Well, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And the rest of you get my other mic, which is still very good. Thank you for the glasses. But yes, this is my podcasting mic, which is my sister does watch live when she's not working, but she's, off 2 days. So the 2 days that she is off from work, she watches. But yes, this is my podcasting mic. It's my very good. And if I can talk softly and do my Joe Rogan voice, so it's very soft and sexy. But no, it's a very good mic. So it's nice that I have a reason to use it again, other than the fact, although it's a little weird because I like being able to kind of sit back and sit forward. And with this mic, it's such a good mic that if I sit back, look what it does, right? You have to be on top of it. Which mic is this? I've got to even look. The Shure, Shure. It's the very good Shure mic, the Michael Jackson mic, and the Joe Rogan mic. but it's very good. And what's nice about it too is it is the Joe Rogan mic though, actually. What's good about it as well is, and guys, we're about to start on TikTok. We just take a minute or two just to have people filter in so they get the notification. And thank you for that. What was that? Your simplifier. Thank you. But what's nice about these mics is in a place where I live, where I've got such tall ceilings, like 12-foot ceilings, the mic cuts out the reverb. So in other words, that kind of echo you get in a place with big ceilings, it cuts it out entirely. I mean, it's amazing the quality of this thing. In any case, all right, guys, let me tell you how things are going to work. Basically, as you know, I'm checking again, but I'm sure it's still gone. TikTok, in its infinite wisdom, got rid of the Q&A function. So the Q&A is now gone for you to submit questions during the talk because TikTok, Lord knows why, they thought it would be great to get rid of it. So what you need to do is when you've got questions, you can go to my profile, and that Q&A section is still on my profile for TikTok. So if you go there, hit Q&A, you can enter the questions there. Thank you, Lola, for that. Enter the questions there, and then I'll just scroll through them when we get to the Q&A period. As you know, I do about 20 minutes or so first of news, and then I will get to the questions. On YouTube, everybody else, you know how it goes. Use the comment box to enter your comments. If you do a super chat question or a super sticker, I will call you out and thank you for that. And I will get to the super chat questions immediately as a thank you for you for doing those, because that also works as a contribution and it helps out a lot. And yes, today I've got my shirt that my sister got me. I don't know where she got it. I'm going to have to ask her, but it's my I say anatomically correct, my geographically correct Ukraine shirt. So I can actually start pointing things out, which is good. So that will be helpful. And Cammie, thank you for that. Oh, and I also thank you guys on TikTok for all the cool stuff. I also will do shout outs when I see it for that stuff too. So let's get rolling, guys. A few updates, just sort of war overview updates that came from Zelenskyy. Thank you for the hat, Matt. That came from Zelenskyy, I think maybe either last night or today. He says that 1/5 of Ukraine is now occupied by the Russians. That's 20%. What is interesting about him saying that is, I think Zelenskyy, thank you, Manda Bear. I think Zelensky's saying it because he's trying to keep the West going. He's trying to, I almost think Ukraine's done too well in a way, right? I mean, they're having some problems with the Russians in the East. And I think he's worried, though, that things are going too well. And the impression is that Ukraine's doing pretty well against Russia, and maybe they don't need much more of our help. So I think Zelenskyy on purpose came out and admitted that 20% of Ukraine was now occupied by the Russians. Thank you, Brenda and Troller, because he wanted to remind folks that, things are going well, but they're not going well. I mean, meaning Ukraine still needs help. This is not a done deal. The other thing is he came out and said that Ukraine has lost 14,000 Ukrainian civilians and service members have been killed in the war. Now, what was interesting about that is he included civilians. And so in a way, he gave us a number that goes, wow, but it's really not a wow, because we assume that lots of civilians have been killed. I mean, I'm assuming it's way more than 14,000 civilians have been killed. I'm assuming it's on the order of tens of thousands of Ukrainians. So in a way, combining the civilians and the service members and saying 14,000 sounds kind of big, but he's not actually telling us anything. Thank you, Arifa. So there's that. Now, quick update on the front, as somebody asked yesterday. The big battle, as you know, is going on in Severodonetsk. And now that I have a shirt I can show you, oops, sorry, I am going to hit my mic when I bend down. Sorry about that. Severodonetsk is all the way over here. This is north, south, east. This is eastern Ukraine. I'm trying to see it backwards in my head. This is eastern Ukraine. All across the border here is Russia. This is all Russia here. Actually, maybe I'll even put the mic here so there's a little less chance of my face hitting it. So this is all Russia. So Severodonetsk is over here. What Russia is trying to get is they are trying to get the Donbas, which is two areas. It is Donetsk and Luhansk, which basically hard for me to see, but more or less it's like here over, okay? So this area here, and they've got 95% of one territory. They only have that one city left, Severodonetsk, and they've got, I think, half of the other territory. So the Russians, as I've said the last few days, have been making a huge push on Severodonetsk. Thank you, Arifa. And frankly, the experts think the Russians are trying too hard. That it is strategically important to get that town. It is certainly important in terms of PR and public relations for the Russians to get that town, but it's not worth it for the men and the machinery the Russians are putting in. It's not worth it. They are killing a lot of Ukrainians. Thank you, Marcy. But they're killing a lot of their own troops and getting a lot of their machinery blown up. This is, probably the worst battle of the war that's going on for this town. And again, the experts say it's just not worth it. Now, the Ukrainians know this. They still have, double whammy. Thank you, Louis and Lola. They still have around 10,000 troops. Thank you, Kanelsi, too, and Troller. About 10,000 troops that are fighting for this town, the Ukrainians. But there are reports that they've been backing out, that they've been backing away so that they don't get cornered in, that they understand that this town matters, but it doesn't matter as much as the other battles. And what the Ukrainians have been doing on purpose is they have been fighting battles in the south, in the Kherson region. Again, I will stand up and show you. Kherson is, okay, Kyiv is all the way up here. Kherson is all the way down here. And remember, this is east, okay? So Kherson is down here. Other towns, that's Melitopol. Mariupol, all the way over here. We all remember Mariupol. Zaporizhia. Anyway, so Kherson's down here. And Crimea, remember I always talk about Crimea. This is Crimea. This is the territory the Russians stole in 2014. And since I can finally show you on an easy map, the Russians stole this in 2014. The Russians have been stealing this since 2014. And remember, I keep talking about they wanted a land bridge connecting the two. This is the land bridge that they were trying to get, connecting the stolen territory and this currently being stolen territory. Now, what the Ukrainians did, which was very smart, is they've been fighting down in Kherson, and they've been taking a lot of little towns and things like that. But from what I'm reading about the analysis is the Ukrainians, it's not as if the Ukrainians are going to have some earth-shattering battle in Kherson, that they're going to take the whole thing back anytime soon. But they're forcing the Russians to pull away from other areas they're trying to go after, including apparently Zelensky's hometown the Russians wanted to take for public relations value. And they've had to pull back because the Ukrainians are fighting in Kherson. But the main point here is the Russians are fighting in Severodonetsk in the east, and they're ignoring the other areas. And that's why the Ukrainians said, you know what? Way smarter for us to go after the last little point I'll make about Kherson. Kherson's important again. I do need a standing map behind me. Kherson again down here. This is incredibly important for a number of reasons. The big reason is both the Ukrainians and the Russians need this region. Why? Because the next war, and they're already planning for the next war. The next war is either going to be after a ceasefire, when the battle kicks in again, okay? Or it is going to be literally this war is over, there's a peace treaty, and we all know the Russians are going to come and invade again. And this war right here, this region right here with Kherson is incredibly important. Why? Because if you're the Russians, you control this, it allows you to go into Ukraine like this. If you're the Ukrainians and you control this, it allows you to go into Crimea and further, right? So it's a very strategic area. Anyway, bottom line is, yes, the Russians are doing well in Severodonetsk. They may even take it over, but they're spending way too much time on it and way too much effort. And we've got a Ukrainian checking in on TikTok. I can't even try to pronounce your name, but everybody give a little sunflower love. We like to shower sunflowers whenever we have our Ukrainian friends stop in. So welcome. Привіт. Welcome. Let me see what else is going to tell you. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you too. In Kherson, this is interesting. The counteroffensive, and this was the analysis from the, the Institute for the Study of War. Very good think tank about the war here in Washington, D.C. And they said the counteroffensive that the Ukrainians have been launching in Kherson, which I showed you, thank you for the hat, viral, threatens a highway used by Moscow to supply its troops in that region. What has happened is the Ukrainians have now gotten close enough to the highway that even without taking the highway, they are able to attack the highway from across some water and start to take out some of the Russian resupply. So very important in that regard. Now, let me look at one thing. It's funny somebody just said about reversing. Let me see if I can. I'm going to look at one thing here really quick. Flip camera. Oop, that's the wrong way, flipping the camera. Mirror my video. Let's try that. Okay, now if I stand up, oh my God, I figured it out. There we go. You can see my map normally on TikTok. There we go. It's a little weird to me because I'm literally looking at myself now from two different angles, and it's a bit freaky, I got to tell you. But I'm going to try. But TikTok now is one mirror and YouTube's the other, and it's a little freaky, guys. But for you, I'm trying this. All right. Let me read this more from Institute for Study of War. So they're across this highway and they can threaten the highway with supplies to the Russian troops. That's one of the reasons it's been important what the Ukrainians have been doing down in Kherson while the Russians are focused on Severodonetsk. Ukrainian forces are likely still close enough to the highway to disrupt its use as a main supply route, potentially undermining the Russians' ability to hold against Ukrainian counteroffensives from the north. But the offensive is taking place in a part of the country. Oh, here it is. The offensive is taking place in a part of the country where the influx of heavier artillery supplied by the United States and its allies could make a difference in the coming months. So meaning this area is going to be especially important once the better equipment comes in from the U.S. and its allies, the rocket launchers and things we've been talking about. Now, speaking of which, I mentioned the other day about the new missile systems that the U.S. was sending and the UK may be sending as well. The training has already begun on those, which is great. It is going to take about 3 weeks, apparently, to train the troops. They're already being trained in a third country, but that's really good news. And the missile systems, basically, I'll call them trucks with rocket launchers on their back. That's the easiest way to describe these things. The trucks have already been pre-positioned in Europe, so I will give Biden actually much credit for this. He pre-positioned the weapons in Europe knowing he was going to do this, so now they announced it. Thank you, Kanausi, and they're able to do the trainings immediately, which is great. Little bit of other news. The Russians are digging in around Kharkiv, which again we'll say Kharkiv. Beep, that's Kharkiv. That's Kharkiv. Kharkiv, which is here. Now note the little dot. Oops, where Kharkiv is. I remember how I kept telling you guys how Kharkiv is right on the border of Russia. It's literally 10 to 20 miles. Thank you for the glasses, Crusher. It's literally 10 to 20 miles from the Russian border. And when you get across the border, I need to find like something here. I'll do it with this. Where this is pointed, the point of this is where the town of Belgorod is, which is that town that the oil refineries kept getting blown up. The oil tanks were getting blown up. The ammunitions depots were getting blown up, and the Ukrainians were basically sending helicopters, under cover of night to attack that town. That's how close it is. And again, it's only about 10 or 20 miles across the border. It helps you to look at a map to finally go, geez, I mean, these guys really are close. What the Russians are doing in Kharkiv is the Ukrainians have pushed them back significantly over the last few weeks, which is great, but they still are controlling a lot of land. And what the Russians are now doing is building up cement defenses. And the cement defenses are going to be much harder to get rid of after a while because it's cement, so they are, as I had warned for the last couple of weeks, the Russians are starting to dig in more and more. And it's going to be getting harder and harder to dislodge them. Thank you, Grandma, for the glasses. There's a growing concern, just to mention this briefly to keep an eye on it, there's a growing concern that the Russians may try to make a move against Odessa, which is a little strange. Now, this is funny. It really does work, but it's funny doing this. Odessa is, oops, I don't want my pen to go. Odessa is down here at the tip of my pen, right? You got Crimea. You've got all the land that the Russians control to here. Actually, to here. They're controlling all of this. And they would love to go over to Odessa here. Now, they don't have it yet. Once you get up here, you've got Moldova and Transnistria, all of that conversation we've been having up here. Odessa, the Russians would love to get. They don't have yet. Snake Island is somewhere down here. I don't know exactly where it is. That's the island where the famous Russian warship Go F Yourself took place, right? And the Russians have been building up so much on that island that there is concern amongst the Ukrainians that possibly the Ukrainian military, the Russians may make a play for Odessa. Now, it's not clear with what army they plan on making the play for Odessa, because, as I said, the Russians don't have a lot of men remaining that are capable of fighting, and they don't have a lot of equipment left. But nonetheless, you know, it's still a concern. So just keep that in mind as we see the news going forward. And anyway, just keep in mind. The other issue is Belarus. Belarus is this is okay. I'm going to stop saying it's funny because it is. Belarus more or less is up here. Okay. I mean, it goes further over, but the dividing line is here. Russia is here. Belarus is here. Okay. Well, Belarus has been fortifying its own border, you know, moving equipment and troops there, but they've also been fortifying the border. And there's some thought as to why they're doing it. And again, it almost makes me wonder now. And actually, Nathan, sorry, I saw your question. I don't know how big the Black Sea is. If somebody wants to just Google and pull up the stats on the Black Sea, I actually don't know how big it is. But Belarus, the fact that they're digging in along their border does make me wonder if they're trying to stop the Ukrainians from doing something. Thank you, KK, for that. It makes me wonder if the Belarusians aren't planning on doing something. For example, letting the Russians use their land even more to fire into Ukraine, whether it's artillery, whether it's flights, you know, and bombers and things like that. Now, one of the things that was interesting is I was looking earlier at the distance, and I want to say, thank you for the glasses there. I want to say when you're looking at from Kyiv, the capital, right, of Ukraine, going to the closest part of Belarus, which is here, you're only talking like 60 miles, you know, which is 100 kilometers. It's not that far. And there's got to be a green screen, John, exactly, on my own green screen today. That's not that far. And there's artillery that can go that far, you know, or there's let's see, but I'm wondering if the Belarusians aren't planning to at least harass the Ukrainians more. Actually, what it really has me wondering is this rumor, maybe not a rumor, but the concern amongst the Ukrainian leadership that Russia may make another play. And thank you for the duck. I did see that troller, or was it troller? That the Russians may make another play at Kyiv to try to get the capital. But again, with what army, right? It's really not clear with what army. But, you know, you want to see it on the shirt. He wants to see my... well, it's not going to really show the Black Sea. I mean, the Black Sea, you know, Black Sea is here, but I don't know where it goes down to, you know? I mean, the Black Sea is all this area. Once you get to like here, it's this, but I couldn't tell you whether it gets down to my navel or where it goes. We're not going to show you the Straits of Bosphorus are only for special paying clients. We show you that one in the back room. Thank you. Who was that? Was that I'm trying to see, was that Kayla? Oh, that was Arifa. Thank you. And Liza, thank you. Where was I before Nathan decided to throw me for a loop here? So Belarus is reinforcing its border. It could be, once again, that they're simply trying to freak out the Ukrainians, but it does make me wonder if they're planning on lobbing some bombs, doing some air flights, something where they literally will need to reinforce their border lest the Ukrainians fight back. I don't think it's happening because the Ukrainians have a lot more important things to do than worry about Belarus. You know, they're trying to get their land back. The head, talking about grain, so a few grain updates. The head of Russia's occupation government in Kherson, again, Kherson down there I showed you, says that they are taking the majority of the grain harvest this year and sending it to Russia. They're were reports in the last couple days, I told you, from the Ukrainian press yesterday, and it finally got picked up today. I think it was in the Wall Street Journal I saw it, maybe the New York Times, that Russia and Turkey may be reaching agreement on allowing the grain to be exported. As you know, currently, the Russians have been embargoing the grain, and really the only land that Ukraine has now, the only port area really is, I mean, here, it's Odessa, right? But the Russians have got this area, they've got Snake Island, so there are mines here, the Russian ships, so Ukraine would be exporting its grain here and then going through Turkey, but it can't. It can't because the Russians have blocked everything. There are reports that the Turks and the Russians have gotten together and reached some deal for the Russians to let the grain go and for the Turks to demine the area. What worries me about this is, what do the Russians want? The Russians aren't doing this for fun. You know, the Russians aren't going to do this for free. So what is it the Russians are doing? And why are they doing it? One report I'd seen that was much more clear in the Ukrainian press, translated, said that the Russians basically wanted a promise that the Ukrainians wouldn't attack their fleet, their ships. And I was like, that's BS. So the Russians are literally sending off cruise missiles from their ships to the shore and killing Ukrainian civilians. But the Ukrainians, if the Russians stop holding Africa and the Middle East hostage, you know, to trying to starve their populations, then the Ukrainians will not try to stop the Russians' ships from just killing innocent Ukrainians. I mean, the whole thing's crazy. The whole thing's crazy. So let's see. I think the devil is going to be in the details, and the details are going to be horrific because, as we said, why would Russia do this? There's no reason for Russia to do this. It's not out of the goodness of their hearts. The leader of the African Union is meeting with Putin soon. And this I thought was really interesting. And I'm sorry if I had a little bit of, I don't want to say schadenfreude, because we don't want this to be schadenfreude, but, you know, let's not make it that. Let's say I was a bit appalled when I was reading this about the African Union in the New York Times. So listen to this. Mind you, Putin is literally trying to starve Africa and the Middle East. That's who he's going to starve if he has his way by keeping this embargo in place. Nonetheless, the African Union has vowed to maintain a neutral position on the war. 19 of the continent's 54 countries have not condemned the invasion, although that's pretty good. It means a majority have condemned the invasion, but not everybody. But the Union overall is sort of agnostic, right? Neutral. And this part really bothered me. For months, African leaders also shunned President Zelenskyy, who asked at least twice to address the African Union. It just annoys me a little bit because, you know, they're sitting here and they're still maintaining a neutral position when Russia is trying to starve them to death. And Russia is the continent's largest arms supplier, so that's why they're afraid of it. But I've got a hard time believing that, you know, France and other countries wouldn't love to jump in and sell arms instead of Russia. But I don't know for a fact, but kind of pissed me off. In Bayraktar news, you might have seen that Lithuania raised $5 million as crowdfunding to buy a Bayraktar drone, the really good Turkish drones, for Ukraine. And the company that makes the Bayraktar turned around, and thank you, Poppy, for that, turned around and said, well, you know what? You've raised this $5 million. Rather than paying us the $5 million for the drone, and that's how much they cost, we're giving you the drone for free for you to give to Ukraine, and you can spend the $5 million on humanitarian aid. Thank you, Arifa, for that. Very interesting. So very nice, actually. So what the Lithuanians are going to do is they've said they're actually going to spend now some of the money on buying additional munitions, you know, thank you, Grandma, you know, rockets and things for the drone. And then some of the rest of the money they're going to, the rest of the money they're going to give to Ukraine anyway. Maybe it'll be humanitarian, but this is a drone that you reuse. Right? You send it out there. It's got weapons on it. You can either use it for reconnaissance or weapons. it drops the weapons, and then it comes back and you need more weapons on it. So Ukraine will need more weapons. You guys may have looked into it for me the other day, and I think we saw that the cost of the weapons is something like 100 or 200,000 each for each bomb, which is not cheap. So these would be used on high value targets. So all the better if the Lithuanians can use their 5 million to buy a ton of weapons for this. That's, actual weapons that can be dropped. So that's great news. Hewlett-Packard today announced that it was leaving Russia and Belarus forever. Well, forever, for good. Very interesting news because they had announced, along with the other companies, and that they were temporarily pulling out of those countries for the war. But now they announced today it's for good. They're gone. What is interesting about that is I've been talking about the other companies. It's been a dribble so far, but I think it's picking up. We've got Starbucks that said the same. We've got McDonald's, Marks and Spencer's, and there was another one, and I'm forgetting. I don't know if anybody remembers what was the other company that said the same thing, that they were gone for good now. This could start turning into a flood for Russia. And Russia, I guarantee you, thought Nike. There you go. Was it Nike? Okay. I think you're right. It was Nike. And we've got Starbucks, exactly. McDonald's, Marks and Spencer, and now HP, Hewlett-Packard. And what's interesting is, Russia thought the war would be over and it would be back. The war would be over. The sanctions will be lifted. All the companies are coming back. Woo-woo, right? No big problem. And now what Russia's seeing is these companies are leaving and they're not coming back. And that's a huge deal because that is going to have a significant economic impact on Russia for the long term. And the other risk for Russia is that other businesses are now looking at this. And, this has turned from a trickle into it's not a tsunami yet, but I would say it's a flood, or it's turning into a flood of companies doing this, which is most likely going to inspire other companies to do the same thing because they're all starting to say to each other now, is this like the wrong, is this the wrong market for us to be in for the long term? And I don't mean morally, I would mean morally, but from their sake, they've got to think of money. And my guess is part of the reason for them, their thinking is Russia is going to be so tainted because of this experience with the war, because of the war crimes, that these companies can't afford to go back to Russia because they're literally going to go back and try to make money with some war criminals. And, how many years have to pass by before you can make money from a war criminal, right? And if I were in the company, that's what I'd be saying internally. And I'd say, it ain't next year, that at the very least. It's 5 years, and then, then you see. So anyway, that's big news. Story came out today about Chernobyl. You remember how at the beginning of the war, the Russians invaded, and Chernobyl is not on my handy dandy shirt map, but I know it's north of Kyiv. I'm going to guess Chernobyl's around here, more or less, but I know it's north of Kyiv. But you can see because of where it is, more or less it's around here. Because of where it is, it's towards the top of the map where the Russians invaded from. So it's one of the first areas you'd pass. Well, the Russians, for whatever reason, thought it would be a great idea to take Chernobyl and occupy it. Well, they occupied it. They took the staff prisoner. Chernobyl is, not an active nuclear plant, but because it had a meltdown in 1986, the worst nuclear plant in the history of the planet, worst nuclear accident in the history of the planet, there were thousands of employees still monitoring Chernobyl to make sure nothing worse happened. Well, the Russians show up, and we are now getting a further picture of what the Russians did. The Russians finally pulled out once the Ukrainians won the Battle of Kyiv, remember the capital, and they pushed the Russians back. Well, once that happened, we now know the Russians looted the place. They stole 698 computers. They stole 344 vehicles, 1,500 radiation dosimeters, like the little badges you have to see what radiation you're getting. And the worst part was they stole irreplaceable computer software that was used to measure spikes in the radiation in the entire complex. And they literally took the software and, took it. It's gone. It is irreplaceable software. It was made specifically for this plant. It will have to be made again, but by calling it irreplaceable, to me, that means it's going to be a hell of a programming job to build this again. And the worst part is it's a program that is useless for any other purpose. It was made expressly for Chernobyl. There's no reason for the Russians to have stolen this, unless, of course, as we talked about, hell, probably a month, 2 months ago now, the Russians kind of want something to go wrong. It's close to their border, but they don't care. They wanted to use Chernobyl, I think, as a dirty bomb, as a nuclear accident, a nuclear accident that isn't a nuclear weapon, but it's a nuclear plant blowing up and causing all sorts of problems. Of course, they're idiotic because literally it's 12 to 40 miles away from the Russian border. If Chernobyl goes up, Russia goes up, but these are not people that care about their own people. So really nasty. Other little bit of news, Taiwan has banned the sale of all modern semiconductor chips to Russia and Belarus. And as we have talked about before, that's a big deal because, we'll get to it. That's a big deal because Taiwan produces something like, we were looking at this the other day, 90 to 93% of the top semiconductor chips in the world are made through Taiwan. So if Taiwan cuts Russia and Belarus off from the top chips, it's going to be a problem. Great news. There was a quick story, just something to keep your eye on. Thousands of dolphins are dead in the Black Sea. They believe, they're not sure yet. The scientists believe it is related to the war. They do not know what's causing it. It could be bombs. It could be mines. They think some of it are literally mines that are in the water that are blowing up the dolphins, which is just awful, or making them sick, the ones who survive. It could be oil. It could be oil from wreckages. They're not sure, but thousands of dolphins have washed up dead now, and they're concerned. Last two things, as you know, there was another mass shooting in America yesterday at a hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is kind of in the center of the country, a little bit south. Best way to describe where it is. It is some guy went and bought a gun. He bought a couple guns. They were very similar to the guns, the AR-15 that has been used in nearly every other mass shooting in our country. He bought it, and the same day he bought it, he went and he decided to shoot up a hospital, was angry at the doctor because he was in pain, so he shot the doctor and 3 of the staff and killed 4 people. The statistics now are that and I think we're around day 150 of the year, like the 153rd day of the year, something like that so far. We've had 233 mass shootings in America this year alone. And in the last 14 days, we have had 36 mass shootings in our country. 36. Final thing on a lighter note, there's a new study out about coffee. These studies you've got to take with a grain of salt because who knows, but supposedly moderate amounts of coffee, even with sugar, can reduce your chance of death by 30% was what the study showed. Excuse me, I shouldn't say it that way. I should say there was some kind of a linkage between people who drink moderate amounts of coffee and having a 30% less chance of death. They found that around 3 cups a day seemed to be best, that it tapered off once you got to 4.5 cups a day. You lost the benefits. What they don't know is whether this was simply a case of, for example, people who drink coffee for their caffeine in the morning are not drinking pop, soda, soft drinks, whatever you call it. In other words, I know people. One of my neighbors, he's a friend of mine. He drinks Diet Coke all day. That's what he uses for caffeine. I can't stand that stuff. And what they don't know, for example, is are the coffee drinkers therefore drinking coffee, whereas everybody else is drinking soda, and soda pop, soft drinks are more dangerous for you? Who knows? Who knows? But kind of interesting. Made me happy being a coffee drinker, although I have 2 cups, but I have 2 very strong cups, so I'm not sure if I break the rules there. That is what I've got for the news for the day. We will jump into the Q&A. As I said, sorry, let me see here. I may have missed. Oh, sorry, you guys. I meant to jump in here. Biden's addressing. So that's what you're saying. Biden's addressing the wave of gun violence. I'm not comfortable live streaming it, Syndicate, just because I'm still worried about somebody getting me for thank you, JR, for copyright and all of that. I'm just not comfortable with it. And honestly, I hate these speeches. Let's see what he says. I think at this point, if Biden's going to talk about it, he better propose something. Not clear what he can propose, but he better propose something. Wendy, I'm sorry, you had put in, and I saved it and then totally missed it, Wendy. I apologize. Maybe Russia's working with Turkey on the grain release because Turkey reminded them of their fishing boats and what payback looks like. Russia is working with Turkey on the grain release because Turkey reminded them of their fishing boats and what payback looks like. Yeah, I mean, well, one hopes the Turks are giving them a, run for their money, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, exactly. I just don't feel like worrying about the copyright stuff. It's bad enough. And TikTok, God only knows, like I need TikTok already doesn't like me because I do news, and they really don't like me because I'm covering Ukraine. And not in a way that the Russians might like. So I'd rather not go there with that. All right, guys. So oops. Oh, I see Elizabeth. Hang on. I see you, Elizabeth. Was another one here? Elisabetta, Lilibet, in honor of the Queen. It was beginning of her Jubilee today. She was out. I was glad to see. The Queen was on the balcony. In your opinion, was Biden's MLRS talk that would be the, oh God, ML. I'm already forgetting. I had it written down the other day. Rocket system. It's not the I'm already forgetting what ML stands for. Guys, help me. It was in my notes the other day. But these are the rocket systems that Biden is now giving to Ukraine. In my opinion, was Biden's talk a gaffe or brilliant diplomacy? Originally, I thought gaffe, but now we're talking about where weapons are used rather than what is sent. I mean, it's interesting. So what Biden did the other day was, sorry, did anybody write down? I'm already forgetting what the MLRS is, just so I can, I was going to, multiple launch. Thank you. Multiple launch rocket system. Yes. Multiple launch. Thank you. Biden had said on Monday morning that we are not going to be sending any weapons to Ukraine that strike Russia. And I was upset. A lot of us were thinking that Biden was saying we're not sending these launchers that Ukraine really needs. Well, the White House clarified, the systems are now going, and it seems that two things are being done. One, Ukraine is promised to Biden that the systems will not be used to hit Russian territory. So they won't be shot at Belgorod, for example, across the border. And they're being provided rockets that have a range of about 43 miles or 70 kilometers. Now, you could still hit Russia with those, but the idea is 43 is a lot different than 150 miles, or I think one of them may even go 300 miles, some of the rockets. So they're providing them the lesser missiles, but thank you, Marcy. So I don't know. I mean, we're talking about where the weapons are used rather than what is sent. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting point. I guess what Elizabeth's getting at is, initially the Russians could have freaked out about the whole issue of, oh my God, you can't send them this weapon. Thank you, Ideal Real, for that. You can't send them this weapon. And now we're focusing on the distance it's going to go and whether Ukraine promised, and if Ukraine promises that it's promised enough, but it got us off of the topic of the weapon itself. That's an interesting point. And the weapon's going now. And oh yeah, and you'll be surprised to hear that the Russians just threatened they threatened Ukraine that if Ukraine uses this weapon to hit Russian territory, they're going to destroy the centers of power in Kyiv. Now, to me, that's interesting. To me, that's very interesting. I don't think Moscow's that close. Isn't Moscow like 400 or 500 miles away from the Ukrainian border? I thought it was. I thought that was very interesting from Russia. And here's why. Oops, sorry, getting a cloth down because my water is now sweating all over my table. By Russia saying, if you attack our territory with these weapons, we're going to destroy Kyiv. Russia's basically saying, it's okay now. You're allowed to get those weapons. Because Russia's saying, if you If you get these weapons and don't attack our territory, then we're okay with it. So in a way, Russia just caved, which I think is very interesting. The other issue is, I remember 6 weeks ago, and I don't remember why, but remember 6 weeks ago, Russia threatened that if Ukraine did something, Russia was going to attack government buildings in Kyiv. This was 6 weeks ago. So once again, we've got another funny threat from Russia where they're threatening stuff that they're not following through on. And that makes it a bluff. I mean, you just don't threaten the same thing twice if you didn't do it the first time. You know, it just, sorry, my allergies are kicking in. It just makes you look bad. But, oh well, I ain't going to worry about it. So, Tyson, I'm hoping I can get a nip point for the super chat. Yes, Tyson, I will show you. Yes, here we go. Kherson. Kherson's the dangerous one there. Joseph, a little off topic, but Ukraine is one game away from going to the World Cup. Yeah, I saw that. It is soccer. Yes, thank you. I did see that. I am not a big sports guy, so I guess maybe I didn't fully appreciate how significant of a deal that was for a number of you guys. But yes, they are very close to going there. Red Square is 632 kilometers away from Kharkiv. But what about what's the closest point though? What's the closest point for from Russia? From somewhere in Ukraine? Is it Western Ukraine or doesn't it really matter? Is Kharkiv still kind of the closest point? Anyway, 400 miles is about what I was thinking. Yeah, that's about right. At least I shouldn't say about right, but it's what I was thinking. Harvey, let me find Harvey Nagila. Harvey, Joom. Yes, and then the HIMARS. Yep, high mobility artillery rocket system. There we go. Have a look, Harvey says, have a look at the BBC interview with Alexander Guz, recounts of Russian soldiers rounding up children, threatening to blind one for each hour they don't give information about Ukrainian troops. Wow. Jesus. This is a BBC interview with Alexander Guz. Now, was this an interview with a child or an adult or what? Alexander Guz. No, the thing is, we knew this is who the Russians are. You know? I mean, we knew this is who the Russians were. So this should not surprise us. It's just unfortunate because the world knew this was Russia and the world kept treating Russia as business as usual, you know, but it's unfortunate, you know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure what to say about it. Yeah. They're threatening to blind children so they can get their way. What a surprise. You know, it's yeah, whatever. Ugh, again, not even sure what to say about that, Harvey. It's so annoying. Thank you, Candace, for the hat. Let me look really quick for a TikTok question. I mean, not TikTok question, but yes, we'll go to my TikTok profile and find one of the questions here. It is just humid today. Oops. Where's the questions? Here's the questions. When Ukraine gets the HIMARS, can they fire them from Lviv? Thank you, Grandma. Well, they can fire them from anywhere they want. I'm not sure what you mean by that, right? They can fire them from anywhere they want. I mean, they just have to have the launcher there. So they could fire from Lviv, but if the range is only 40 miles, what's the point in doing it from Lviv? You know what I mean? Because 40 miles isn't going to get you anywhere. I mean, unless this is an effort to show my shirt again, but Lviv, hang on, is all the way over. It's hard for me to even see. This is Lviv, right? Kyiv is in the middle. All the fighting is happening here. So why would you want to be hundreds of miles away with a system that only shoots 40 miles, right? So it can, but I don't think there's any benefit in having it out in Lviv is the thing. Turkey wants to change names. No, that sounds like a joke. Is it some kind of a joke or something? I don't know. I don't know. Grandma, thanks for the flowers. Hang on. Sorry, just trying to get a few of the TikTok questions done in a row here. I echoed your comment and got muted. I don't know why. I agree with you by saying BS. Oh, I said BS and you agreed with me by saying BS also. Okay, somebody unmute this lovely person. Oh, I can unmute you, Cindy. No, can I? I can't unmute you. I don't know how to unmute you. Cindy O, for the mods out there, CYNDIOH. We muted her because she was agreeing with me and you guys thought she was saying BS to me on TikTok. If there's some way, I have no way of doing it, Cindy, that I know of. I don't know whether the mods can. Shoot, that's not a good thing. I mean, at the worst, it's going to piss me off if it mutes you for the show. At worst, it's going to mute you for the show. But you'll be able to come back afterwards. But I think we mute people. I think it mutes people for the show because we assume the mute is bad people, not people we thought we got mixed up with. So I apologize for that. We haven't heard from Anonymous lately. That's true, actually. We have not heard much from Anonymous lately. That's true. That's true. Well, isn't Turkish with Turkey? Isn't Turkish Turkiye or something like Turkiye or something like that? So they want to change the pronunciation of their name? Yeah, sorry, Cindy. That sucks. Yeah, I don't know how else to get you back in. Thank you for the garland, flower lady. Let me just look here and see. Oop. That smells like a Daniel. Oh, it's not a Daniel. Who is this? Marion. Lovely maid Marion. Hi. I like Marion. Hi, Marion. If Putin can't lose to Ukraine and save face, and we know he won't give up, might more U.S. participation help him lose with face and get better results for Ukraine? Thank you for the glasses. Sorry, Marion's confusing me here. Also plays to his rhetoric inside Russia that this is a proxy war with the U.S. Hi, if Putin can't lose to Ukraine and save face. So if Putin can't save face, if he loses to Ukraine, can't lose and save face, he won't give up. Might more U.S. participation help him lose with face because he can say, I lost to America and NATO. That's a little better, right? I mean, although honestly, it's still pretty freaking bad. You know, this is something I've been saying. Thank you, Miss Mickey. I've been saying for a while now that by Russia constantly saying, well, the reason we're doing so bad in Ukraine is because they're using NATO weapons. You're admitting that NATO weapons seem to be better than your weapons. That's the first admission. Second of all, you're not fighting NATO. You're fighting Ukraine, which supposedly was going to be this 3-day pushover. If Ukraine armed with NATO weapons is that good, excuse me, thank you, Rascal, imagine how good NATO would be armed with NATO weapons. So I wonder whether that does save him face because, yes, it's better, itchy. It's better than having it be losing to Ukraine, but losing to the US and NATO is still a good reason to lose your job, right? It's better. I'm with you, but I mean, it's still, you know. Oh, good. You're on, Cindy, you're unmuted. You got unmuted. Thank you, Grandma. I'm not sure how she did it. Manda, you're amazing. I don't know how Manda did it, but she unmuted you. I didn't know we could unmute people. I just thought it kind of stuck for as long as it stuck. Okay. Oh, okay. We're getting the update on President Biden's speech. So President Biden, Turkiye. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Turkiye. That's what I was thinking. Turkiye. No one's going to say Turkiye. Turkiye. The problem is it sounds weird in other languages. Turkiye. It doesn't really work in English. Turkiye. Yeah. Thank you, critters. So the update on the Biden speech about the gun violence is Syndicate says President Biden calls for a ban on assault-style weapons, among other gun control measures after the mass shootings. Yeah, it's not bad, though, because we had the assault weapon ban back a long time ago. Cut the deaths. It expired. Death sword. So I would not be surprised if that's the big push people do because it's the one proven thing. Up. Wendy, did I miss you? Hang on. Let me go and I'm scrolling back to find it. And if not, if one of the mods sees it, Wendy. Oh, I did not see it, Wendy. Thank you. I turned on the James Vasquez interview, but I didn't get a chance to watch. I just turned it on quickly. There's an interview on YouTube with James Vasquez, who's one of the better known Americans who went over to Ukraine to fight, former U.S. service member. And became sort of well known because he was doing a lot of things on TikTok very carefully, like he knows what he's doing, was raising money to get supplies for the Ukrainian people the men he was working with. It was nice. Show Mariupol on your shirt. This is your city, of course. So Mariupol is all the way. Mariupol is all the way down here for folks to see. So in Western Ukraine, boop, and there you go. Somebody's originally from Mariupol. They wanted to point it out on the shirt. They were feeling homesick. So no, I did not see the interview yet. I pulled it up and saw it. Actually, I have to tell you, the guy doing the interview annoys me. I just find him a little too slick. I don't like people who are slick at doing their interviews, and he just kind of does his interview and he does it like this. And he's clearly got a whole team helping him, which I think makes me jealous too. But he gets on my nerves. So I didn't watch it, but I just didn't have time to watch it. But I did turn it on and look initially, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, Lori, I saw your joke and I'm ignoring it, but I don't see every Vlad actually sent me yeah, that's cute, Lori. Now I see it. Vlad is good. Vlad actually, who's my friend in Ukraine, who's helped us with a lot of he's actually been coordinating all the fundraising we've been doing, the humanitarian stuff. Vlad actually sent me a video that I need to put up in the next day or two because the food organization we've been helping in Kharkiv, second largest city, right? Kharkiv over there. The food organization is having a hard time getting gas because gasoline is so expensive, or petrol, as you might call it, is so expensive. They're having a hard time getting it, and they're asking for donations. They'd like to raise about $3,500. So I was going to put that up. I don't know whether people are getting tired of giving or not anymore, but we'll see. But because it was for a very specific ask, I thought, why not? Because and one of the guys working at the organization actually got up and did the video explaining what they need it for, which I thought was nice because it gives you a little more of a direct connection to the folks saying we really do need this. So anyway, I'm going to try to remember to put that up tomorrow. And if folks can support, that's great. Okay, good. I'm glad you're not tired of giving. Well, I never know. It's you. We asked you guys for a lot, and you guys gave $50,000. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what you did. So thank you. Yes, this T-shirt is from my sister, and it actually is very useful for a map. But I can't wear it every day, so I'm definitely going to need. I'm just running out of money. Well, I don't want you running out of money. Don't do that. Let me see here. Videos. Vlad's been amazing. Yeah, no, we still do have to figure out if there's something we can do for Vlad. We've got to see. My sister bought this online somewhere. I have to ask her where she even got it. I don't even know where she got the shirt, but but the thing that I like too is I washed it today. It fits. Like I was talking with actually Yulia about this the other day. Like I have a very hard time finding shirts that are like sold like this that fit me well. And this thing, like the shoulders are nice, little big here, maybe not too much though. It actually is a decent, basically I would wear this shirt to a bar. I'd wear this shirt to a singles bar. That's my test for clothing and how well it fits me. Do I think it makes me look hot or hot enough? But in any case, all right, guys, let me pull up another. Thank you. I'm glad you think it looks great. Let me pull up another TikTok question. As we said, we're entering the questions on my TikTok profile page. There's a Q&A button because TikTok, for some reason, removed the buttons, very annoyingly, for you to be able to donate in the actual live itself. And we have no idea why they did that. That's what I did. I washed it in cold water, and then I did a light dry, and it was perfect. It worked great. So I don't need to worry about. Watch it, Marion. Watch it, Marion. The terrain's not for you, lady. When did it become open day on sexually harassing John here? Oh, thank you, Critters. Is that one of the ones that does the postcards? Oh, no, it doesn't. I thought it did. That was very cool, though. A fundraiser for a map. I just have to find the map. It may not be expensive to get. I have to see. Well, I guess the thing that I need is, thank you for the hat, Louis. I need I need a good map of Ukraine. I live in DC, but I'm from Chicago, actually, creative. I need a good map of Ukraine. It needs to be on an easel of some kind, so it stands up behind me, and it probably wouldn't kill me to have a pointer, although those things aren't expensive either. I just have to figure out where would it be. Green screen won't work. Thank you, Bam Bam, because I'm doing TikTok too, so it's not like I can fill in a green screen, right? I've got to have something where at least it's obvious enough for, I have to sort of figure out what size even works, because it can't be something too big either, so that I can sit here and point for both of you. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I need to get a map, an easel, and a green screen's not going to work though. I don't think it'll work, Syndicate, because how do I use the green screen for TikTok? There's no way to do it. I might be able to do it for this, but not for TikTok. Unless poor TikTok just misses out. Okay, so you are saved. I'm glad to see that from being muted. I have not heard anything from Anonymous lately. I did not see the story of the civilian executions in Severodonetsk. I Googled it and didn't see the story on it. I did see that Malcontent did something, but I was Googling the news overall on it and didn't see anything, so I don't have anything to add on that. These are from yesterday, though. Yeah, these are some of these from yesterday. Okay, you guys you're not, see, this is hard, though, because the question, I will look at questions on here then. Let me see what else. Print your map on a sheet of glass like the weathermen did in the 70s, exactly. And thank you for the pride glasses, Christy. Hello, Serbia. Nice to see you. Okultu. Our neighbors to the north. Well, my family's Greek, so neighbors to the north there. I know, that's exactly right, Syndicate. Just trying to think. Thank you for the cap there. Is it Grandma? Sorry, I'm looking to see. Throw me more questions, guys, because unfortunately, I'm not scared by the war. No. I mean, it's horrible, obviously, but I'm not scared by it. No, because I don't think we're going to have war with Russia. The other thing is, all Russia's got is nuclear weapons. They can't. I mean, Russia may lose this war to Ukraine. Imagine if they took on NATO. There's I mean, look, I certainly have been sleeping less well since the war started. So my anxiety is there. Thank you, Allie. My anxiety is there, sure. But it's anxiety just in general, also because I'm working the war. So like, I'm covering it all day long for you guys. And then I'm worrying about my broadcast at night, and I'm worrying about how many people show up. And so like, it's my job to worry about it, so to speak. But I am not worried about it in the sense of them beating America or something. They're not going to beat us by any means. They can't beat the Ukrainians. You know, and I always say, I don't mean that to knock the Ukrainians, but if they can't handle one country of Ukraine, they cannot handle 30 countries of NATO. No frickin' way. No frickin' way. So it doesn't make me nervous in that regard. I just am a little nervous because I worry for Ukraine, and I worry about the after effects. I mean, I worry about whether Russia in the end, you know, whether they do win, and if they do, what it sets up for the rest of the world. You know, and empowers them to go and cause even more trouble. You know, that worries me. Let's see. What was Elizabeth saying here? Is it messing Ukraine up that they're getting so many different weapon systems from different countries? Could it cause logistical challenge? Yes. Because first of all, you've got to learn all the different systems. Second of all, but they're figuring that out. The bigger issue is the systems, each of them are going to need their own way of being repaired. So you've got to learn how to repair them, and you need the parts and the equipment to repair them. So each of the systems will require that. And you're going to need the munitions for the systems as well. So that particular kind of, you know, artillery needs Russian. They were saying like a lot of the Russian equipment they're giving them needs Russian munitions to go with it. So that could be an issue potentially. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's in a way, it's probably a nice problem to have in some ways, maybe, you know, but, you know, better to have the weapons than not, but I wouldn't be surprised. So PB&J, let me get to PB&J 1 second. Let me get to the other ones first. Daniel, how is the West so short-sighted? Well, that's almost a tongue twister. How is the West so short-sighted? They have Ukraine begging for weapons. Ukraine, who has soldiers who are motivated, willing, and able to use them to destroy the Russian army. I know. Why are we not flooding them with weapons? because Putin freaked us out. I mean, it's one thing for, and I'm not going to say France and Germany, I'll say for Scholz, because the Germans always get upset that we shouldn't include them in the list of people who are freaked out by Russia and don't want to fight. It's Scholz who's that way. But the French and the Germans are freaked out about Russia losing. Biden is freaked out about Russia losing, and that's a problem. Because if Biden himself is a little freaked out about Russia losing, then it's going to be hard to shore up the rest of Europe. But clearly, Boris Johnson is to the right of Biden, clearly, right? The Baltic states and Poland are to the right of Biden on this stuff. Biden has been very good from the beginning, and he's getting better. He was very good from the beginning about getting a massive worldwide response, which is great. And he's gotten better in terms of the equipment we are giving Ukraine. So it's better and better. But he still said in this letter he wrote to the Washington Post this week that he was concerned about Ukraine, about getting into war with Russia. And once again, it would be World War III, blah, blah, blah. He put all of that BS argument out there again about how we're so afraid of war with Russia, which only enables Russia. It only tells Russia, okay, you're afraid of me. This is great. Let's keep going. And that's why they don't want to do it. They think it is strategically more dangerous. Thank you, Tom, for that. Strategically more dangerous to beat Russia than not. Now, and you know what? And I'm going to go in 2 seconds and come right back, because let me do it first. I actually have like a little allergy spray for my nose because it's driving me crazy. And I don't want to have a picture of me like that Russian guy the other day. Hold on. One moment. You stay there, Sash. One moment. I'm back. Okay. Oh, thank you. I feel I know you. I know you well enough to say I can go and get my allergy spray. Well, no, it drives me nuts though, because it's like it starts itching and then you're dead. Then you're like, ugh. No, I'm with you, Daniel. I mean, the thing I will say is it's not crazy to worry about war with Russia. And it's not crazy to worry about what the end game is here and what Putin will do if he loses, right? So that's not crazy. But it annoys me because I disagree on this. I think the danger of Putin winning is much worse than the danger of Putin losing. And I also think to some degree, Biden knows that. I still think to some degree, the U.S. is still divided. Biden wants Ukraine. He doesn't want Ukraine to lose, but he would like a tie. And I think in the end, he'd like a tie. And he'd like it so that both parties are forced to come to the table. And I think this is also the way Biden approaches issues anyway. Both parties come to the table and we cut the baby in half, and Ukraine won't be happy and Russia won't be happy. And then the world will be happy. But, you know, kind of like World War II or something, like when you've got one side that's evil and the other side that isn't, if you cut the baby in half, you're only helping the bad guy. The bad guy's not happy because he wanted to kill your entire country and you're only letting him kill half the country. You know, you're not happy because you just gave up half your country. So anyway, it annoys me, but be careful with Biden on that front, because I think he's good. He's getting better, but I still think in the end, you run the risk of Biden just jumping ship in the end and kind of pushing for some kind of a compromise that isn't very good. All right, Harvey, let me pull yours up here. Harvey. Go to a company like, Print Frame. You can put in custom orders for custom maps or wherever you choose in any style you choose, around $25-ish. Okay, that's not something that's in England. Jolly old England print frame. I'll take a look and see. Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It just needs to be, excuse me, for the frames. Thank you, JR. It just needs to be something that can go on like a styrofoam board so it's solid. And then, I get an easel and I get a pointer, but the pointer can't be $10, If Russia nuked a U.S. city, would be worth world war discussion and response. Well, that's an interesting question there. So somebody's asking, Urban Realtor's asking on TikTok, if Russia nuked a U.S. city, would it be worth world destruction as a response? That's a very interesting question. And that, I think, is something that any leader is going to have to consider. It's a very weird question you get there, which is, what do you do? Now, I think what you'd almost have to do, if Russia did it on purpose, you would tell them, we're going to be nuking a city of equal size of yours. And if you don't like it, then it's the end of the world. But I don't know how you avoid doing that. Because first of all, I think you'd have far too many people in this country who would demand it. If Russia did it on purpose, they would say, that's it. You're taking out one of their cities of equal size because you're still heading up a democratic country. I don't know that you could get away with it. It's scary. It's an interesting question, though, because that's something that you've got to consider. And let me say something real quick with that. That is why I have been concerned from the beginning about this whole issue of I've been concerned from the beginning about this whole issue of saying that under no condition would we get into a war with Russia because it would be too dangerous, World War III. If that's the issue, if getting into war with Russia means the end of the world, then, and this is what I've said, then why would we get into war with Russia if he invades Poland? Sure, we don't want to lose Poland, but isn't losing Poland better than World War III and the end of the world? And then isn't losing all of Eastern Europe better than World War III and losing the end? And isn't losing all of Europe to Russian domination better than the end of the world? There's nowhere to stop. And this was my concern with Biden's language from the beginning, is it's not a coherent policy. It sounds good, I guess, to some people, but my response to him would have been, okay, Mr. President, so if he invades Poland, we're going to engage Russia and it's going to lead to the end of the world, right? So why would we defend Poland? We have a treaty obligation, but that treaty obligation is going to lead to the end of the world, you just told us. Why would we ever do that? And make him explain it, because I don't think he can. And I think he needs a better explanation for why he doesn't want to get more involved in Ukraine. Anyway, it annoys me. What else we got here? What else we got? Let me pull up another. Remember, guys, you can submit questions on the Q&A too, although you seem to want, you know what? It's okay on TikTok. I can get him here. Who would take over after Putin? We don't know, but there was a name mentioned who I think was the head of his security council. Some guy, was it Petrushov? Help me out, Russianologist. Petrushov or something, Petrushov or something, and he's apparently a total NZ, like he's a total nut job. So it ain't good. I agree with you, Jillian. I'm saying by his logic, though. By Biden's logic, why would we go in? Yeah, good point. And as Marion says, we had a treaty obligation. Well, we at least had a memorandum obligation to defend Ukraine if Russia attacked. We didn't do it. And treaty obligation, Schmeedy obligation. You don't have to abide by treaties. I'm not saying we shouldn't. We should abide by the treaty, but you don't have to. Exactly. Nathan saying the same thing as Marion. Yep. I thought we had a treaty obligation. We did. And we didn't. Well, see, but here's the problem, Thomas. And this was the question I had for the former NATO defense minister who I met at a party in DC right before the war started. And I asked him about that. I said, okay, but under Article 5 of the NATO Charter, if Poland gets attacked or if the Baltic states gets attacked, aren't we all at war? And he said, no. Under Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all. He goes, but who decides what's an attack? He said, if something happens, the aggrieved party would, do whatever. I don't know, you file a complaint or whatever you do with NATO, and NATO would meet and decide whether this was an attack on all or not, whether Article 5 was even invoked. And what I worry about is whether NATO, we need unanimity in NATO in order to let Sweden and Finland in. I wonder if we need unanimity in NATO to have Article 5 be invoked. Because couldn't you see Hungary going, no, I don't think that's Article 5, So, no, it is not automatic. It's not automatic. Or frankly, our leaders, like we said, Poland and France, not France, France and Germany get together and they've got Biden on their side saying, I don't really want World War III. Maybe we let him take Poland. Again, I think it's dangerous as hell, but it's a possibility. The rhetoric certainly takes you there, which scares me. Okay. I would need a behavioral definition of what attack means. Marion, that's for you. That's like Marion's question to our prophet Georgetown. How do you define war? And he freaked out. Oh my. Hang on. Oh, syndicate's weighing in. NATO treaty states a member state must regard an attack on one as an attack on all. It specifically does not include military action. The reason is twofold. Iceland does not have any armed forces. The U.S. insisted on this back in 1949. They were willing to defend Europe against communism, but not against Germany if they were to have to go at it for a third time. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's troublesome. Also, I've raised this before, and I don't raise this as a right versus left issue, but what's the, if Donald Trump is president, could you tell me guaranteed that Donald Trump would agree to the NATO charter if Poland got invaded or one of the Baltic states? You think Donald Trump's going to go to war to defend one of the Baltic states? Please. Not unless they build him a hotel. But seriously, there's no way. So it doesn't, treaties are nice, but you break the treaty. What are you going to do? Sue him? I'm not suggesting we do it, but what I'm saying is there's a difference between the Pollyanna in the sky, we have a treaty, and what happens on the ground. You get somebody who just says, I'm not obeying the treaty. Screw it. I'm not doing it. Again, you're going to sue him? You're not going to exist anymore. You're not going to sue him. And again, I think this is a bad idea. I just worry it could happen. NATO needs an update. Yep. NATO needs a software update. NATO 2.1 or 3.0. If its clauses and a change in some of its members, appeasement has never gone well. Yeah. The member thing is tough. The problem, this is the problem too, which I guess does kind of make sense as NATO gets bigger. What do you do if everything's got to be, and the EU has the same problem, if everything's got to be unanimous, unanimity gets a lot harder the more people you get, you start having more and more countries in there. Then again, it should have to be unanimous because if you're going to war, what do? I would think you'd have to have some kind of unanimity, but, yeah, I don't know. Yep. When Crimea was stolen, why didn't we act? Well, damn good question. Now, there was Ukraine itself was in a different situation where they didn't have the military to fight back that they have now, right? But, we had the ability to do more and we didn't. No, that infuriated me at the time. We absolutely had the ability to do more and we did not. Yes. You came late, Syndicate. I told that story about the Bayraktar. What else am I looking for here? That's funny. What happens if a country in NATO attacks another NATO country? Well, actually, it wouldn't matter. You were attacked. So, I see what you mean. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. you wonder if there's a provision in there for that, because if one NATO country attacked another, I think that would invoke Article 5. The problem is, if they all got together to decide, could the country that did the attacking veto it? That's very interesting. Like, well, Greece and Turkey. Yeah. Thank you, JR. Greece and Turkey is a good example. You know? Yeah, that's interesting. Greece and Turkey would be a perfect example, because I don't know what the hell would happen there if Greece and Turkey were to get into another war. You know, would the whole region just split up into different people? We'd get Serbia. Woo! I don't know who else we'd get. You know, the Greeks, I mean, but you know, I don't know. That's an interesting question. Johnny Depp. So I did see, I'm yawning at you guys, sorry. Although now it's 17 after, so that's not too bad. I did see the Johnny Depp thing. I did a quick video on it. You know, since I wasn't following the trial, I don't have much of an opinion on it, other than I don't terribly care. I was surprised because I did a video on it, and I went and, you know, there were a lot of trolls yesterday too. Who knows why? The Russians are probably pissed at me for making fun of their stupid, and now our culture is better than your culture video. So I'm guessing they got pissed at me. Blah, blah, blah. The, what the hell am I talking about here? The mods. What the hell was I talking? Something about this before we saw the mod thing there. I don't remember what the hell I was talking about. I don't know what I was talking about. Thank you. I have no idea what I was talking about. Excuse me. Oh, I'm tired today, guys. Sorry. Any idea what I was talking about? Johnny Depp. Thank you, Johnny Depp. So I was not watching the trial. I did read a few articles about it, and just to make especially sure what happened. And the decision was, the jury found both of them, because he sued her. She filed a counterclaim against him, saying that you know, he claimed she defamed him. Oh, Mrs. Mahalati, hello. My friend's mom is here. The best Persian cook on the East Coast. I still remember the meal you made, especially the rice with the saffron, my favorite. Good to see you. You're throwing me for a loop here. So the thing I wrote simply said that the jury found both of them guilty of defamation, and they gave a judgment of $15 million to Depp, and what was it, or 2.5 million, I think, or whatever it was to her at the time. I said to her, and that would leave Depp with basically a 12.5 million surplus. Oh my God, the comments, people were out of their minds crazy. It was the most ridiculous thing you'd ever seen, how angry people were. So angry. This is not, you made it sound like it was the same. It's not the same. People I'm like, damn you people. I know we've got to get your, I have not seen your daughter forever either, Mrs. Mahalati. So that's the other issue we've got to do. Well, your daughters, because Sue was Nargis was the big friend, but Sue was a friend too. Tell her I want to didn't she move somewhere? We'll talk later about this. Nargis moved, I thought. But in any case, people were so anal about it. It was the wildest thing. I was like, my God, people, who cares? I mean, really? And then I'm thinking, like, a lot of them are anal because they're, you know, Me Too activists or something like that. Oh no, it was the Johnny Depp fans who were like, she did not win, he won. I was like, people, I like Johnny Depp as an actor too, but give me a break. It was just very weird. Very weird. Yeah. Very, very, very weird. Anyway, so so it's 20 after. All right, we're gonna switch to the hangout period of our chat. I go about an hour 15, hour 20, and now we're gonna hang for another 10 minutes. I'm gonna yawn at you all. We're gonna hang for another 10 minutes and just try to. This is where we have the Johnny Depp talk. Just hang and have more of a general as I adjust my lighting. That works well enough. And we can talk about food and Mrs. Mahalati's Persian food or whatever we want. Anything. I have not baked any. Oh, sorry. Make sure. Oh, wait. Oh, there is something else here. Oh, no, PB&J, I was just going to answer your question anyway, real quick. The Ukrainian military will determine the range of the HIMARS announced, the new U.S. ambassador. I saw that. Does this mean the limit imposed is null? I thought that was very interesting. She said that. The only thing is the limit depends on what missile you put in it, as I recall, right? So the system can shoot farther with some missiles, shorter with other missiles. We're providing the medium range missiles, but I know there's a longer range missile that fits in there. So I'm not sure if that's what she meant, because in a way she could, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's right. Let me do the recap. Good point. Good point, Kimmy. We shall do a recap. And sister, everyone's loving the shirt. My sister is sneakily in the crowd tonight, folks. So let her know you all loved the shirt. And I did get to you, even though some of you got a little weird about my nipple, but that's okay. So the recap, Zelenskyy says the Russians now occupy 1/5 of Ukraine, 20%. He says there's been about 14,000 Ukrainian civilian and service member deaths. I think the number's higher, actually, because just civilians alone has got to be tens of thousands. In Severodonetsk, which is the region in the in the east that the Russians have been trying to get, the Russians have about 80% control of the town now. But again, the experts think it is a strategic mistake going after it, that it is not older sister, but looks younger, according to people who meet us, which was very annoying to me. But that's fine. Somebody goes, she's your younger sister. I'm like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so Severodonetsk, the Russians are pulling out all stops to get that town, but it's not clear that they should. It seems to be a waste of manpower. They should be much more worried about the other territories they have and digging in so the Ukrainians don't get it back. The Ukrainians have recaptured 20 villages around Kherson, and more importantly, in the south, they are near a key strategic highway that will allow them to go after Russian supplies. The U.S. has begun training on the HIMARS system, which is the rocket launcher truck system, as I'm calling it, for them to use those new rockets that we are sending them that are going to be really effective and really important for the Ukrainians to have. We're already training them, and it'll go it's about a 3-week training. The Russians are digging in around Kharkiv and putting up cement barriers, which is going to be an issue because it means it's going to be harder for the Ukrainians to eventually push them back. There's growing concerns about a possible Russian move against Odessa in the south. But again, I'm not convinced because I'm not sure. There's going to be, excuse me, I'm not sure that they have the military. I'm yawning at you. I'm not sure the Russians have the military to go after Odessa too right now. I think that's a bit much, but we'll see. Belarus is fortifying its border. Nobody knows why. Again, would strike me as a bit crazy if Belarus were going to invade, but maybe they're thinking of doing more attacks from within Belarus by air, things like that. The head of Russia's occupation government in Kherson, again, the town in the south, says that the majority of the grain harvest in that region is going to be sent to Russia. There is potentially an agreement between Russia and Turkey about letting the... she's moving. She's on the move. Hello. She's on the move. Oh, you can see the YouTube folks can see my dog right there. She's popping up. TikTokers, not quite, but at least that means I can. She's going under the pillow. That means at least I can grab her at the end and show you guys. She's trying to dig under my pillow. My ghost. Anyway, Russia and Turkey might be reaching a deal for how the grain exports can continue. I don't believe it. The leader of the African Union is going to be meeting with Putin. Lithuania is being provided a Bayraktar drone for free. They raised money to buy the drone. Remember, they crowdfunded 5 million euros, $5 million to buy the drone for Ukraine, and the Turkish company said they were going to provide the drone for free, which was very cool. Hewlett-Packard announced it's leaving Russia and Belarus permanently, which is a big deal and a growing trend amongst companies. The Russians looted Chernobyl, we now know, and stole irreplaceable software that is meant to monitor radiation spikes to keep Chernobyl safe. Taiwan has banned the sale of all modern semiconductor chips to Russia and Belarus. That's a big deal. And let me just look at what else you guys are saying here. Thousands of dolphins are dead in the Black Sea, south of Ukraine. Experts believe it's because of the war, but they're not sure. They think the dolphins may be running into mines. They may be running into oil from ships that have been hit, bombs, things like that. They're just not sure. And the Tulsa massacre I mentioned, we've had 36 mass shootings in the U.S. now in the last 14 days. And finally, there's a new study that suggests that people who drink approximately 3 cups of coffee a day have a 30% less chance of dying. So there you go. Ooh, that was long news today. All right, enough of the serious stuff. Now we hang. Now we hang for a few minutes. What else is going on? Oh, Craig got the distance info I wanted. So what distance info was that? Remind me. Was it as far as how Russia was, or what exactly, Nathan? Did Craig post something above? Let me see. Craig. Yeah, watch it, Greg. For Hangout, how did I get such a great personalized Gmail? Oh, no, but my family name, nobody in the world has my family name. This is kind of a funny thing. Like, I guess in our family, I never quite appreciated that there literally is nobody in the world with our name other than our family. And I was thinking about that and like asking friends, and we couldn't kind of come up with any other names that of my friends who have a unique last name. Very strange, but literally nobody in the world has my last name. If you have my last name, you are a relative. So that's how I got a personalized name on Gmail. I was always more tech savvy than my siblings, and my Greek relatives use a different spelling, so I beat them to it. John in Greek is Yanni. I mean, it's Ioannis, but that's very formal. So Yanni, which is a bit, I don't like, Yanni in Greek sounds funny to me, but you could say Yanaki, which is nice, my mom says, which is like little Johnny. Sorry, so somebody named Greg had got some distant. Craig just reposted it. Okay, Craig. Yeah, Marion, I know. Oh, it did say the effects die off. Oh, here we go. The effects die off after about 4.5 cups, Marion. So you don't want to do that. The distance from Ukraine to Moscow, 286 miles from the closest point. Okay, that's closer than I thought then. Thank you for the meteor shower, Christy. That is closer than I thought. That's closer than I thought. Yeah. Yep. So 3 cups a day is the optimal. But yeah, I was thinking 400 miles. So, okay. Still not that close, but it's not terribly far either. That is interesting. Well, then I guess for the best system, they might be able to hit Moscow with the best systems, right? Misspelled by the army. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Your last name too? See, Lizzie. Okay, we have some others here then. Okay. Oh, and another one. Wow. See, there you go. We have a number of people here who've got the last names. A food TikTok or YouTube channel. You know, maybe, but I'm still like trying to make a living. Like, I would consider doing the food thing once I like retired or something, potentially. But the only problem with food TikToks is you've got to do them really well. You know, you got to do them really well. Yes, I am aware of that. Yes, Syndicate, but thank you for showing everybody else. 3 cups of coffee is better than no coffee. Yes, that's what they found. It was wild. And using a teaspoon of sugar, which is a lot less than most people put in their coffee. But people who do good food TikToks and good food YouTubes have got help, clearly, because it's a good job. I mean, they've got, okay, she's over there. I'm going to pick her up. She's going to be pissed, but I'm going to pick her up. Oops. 1 second here. Yes. Yes, I do have history. You knocked all your pillows down. Come here. I'm going to pick you up. Oh, here you go. All right. Let's show everybody. Let's go say hi to everybody again. Let's go say hi to everybody again. Whoops. Here, we'll move our mic out of the way. There we go. Everybody meet Sasha. Sasha. Treat. There you go. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sasha was a little freaked. We did have a thunderstorm earlier. Oh, you want to lick my arm? Okay, she wants to lick my arm. This is how I know she's in a decent. I'm surprised she's okay with me holding her because she licks my arm. She likes the nook of my arm like that for whatever crazy reason. That's her favorite spot. But oh boy, there you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Normally, you know what? I think she's letting me hold her though because the storm scared her. So now she's kind of like, I don't mind you holding me mode. Oops, I know I don't have the mic close, but you'll deal. Oh boy, look at you! You're doing this is a long show today. Yeah, I am going to cut her hair event. I cut it. Oh, okay. More? Jesus Christ! Her hair does need to be cut over her, trimmed over her eyes because it grows quickly. Yeah. What do you think? Oh, now you want to go down? I know. Okay. She is licking the salt. It probably is like extra salt because it's so warm out. Would be my guess. But oop. Ooh. I'm not going to go too much longer here, folks. I think we've already done 10 more minutes. Sasha's a little over 12. So yes, knock on wood, she's still hanging in there. And my sister's crazy puppy is still doing well. What? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, you want more water? Hold on. A little more water for Sasha, and then I'm going to sign off. Right, there you go. All right. Oof. But yes, she was, sorry. The dog was a panic earlier because of the thunderstorm. It was nice loud thunder too. I was like, oh God. It was bad. Oh, okay. She's meandering. Yeah. Oh, I know. All right. Yeah. What do you think? You want to go out there or no? It's up to you. You're kind of. Oops. Come on. Get on. There you go. All right. Actually, it cooled down nicely out there finally. Jeez. Thank God. Oh, man. It's a salt lick. Navalny's getting more time added on, I think. Actually, Yulia, let's chat afterwards, okay? I think. But I didn't see like the details on it. Licking could be, in this case, literally the dog was freaking out. I mean, her usual freaking out with storms. I gave her a little bit of a pill and everything else, but it could be in this case. But she also likes to lick like first thing in the morning. She really likes to lick like literally this part of my arm right there. It's the funniest. It's just the weirdest thing. It's not like my arm in general. It's here in the crook of my arm or whatever you call it. This part specifically. I have no idea why. I have absolutely no idea why. It's the goofiest thing. So it's a salt thing, but there's clearly some kind of other thing going on there too. You know, whatever it was. Oh, Melissa, did you have a sticker? What did I miss? I can bake bread. This is true. You were going to try the sourdough, I thought, Mrs. Mahalati. I don't remember. No, I would consider a food thing. The thing is, as I said, it just takes effort to. You'd have to really edit it right for a food thing, especially. Even this, I think, would probably do better being edited and all that. I mean, I watched, like you guys were saying, the one interview with James Vasquez was by a guy who clearly has a team, and they edit and everything else, and they make it look much fancier, and it cuts. The view cuts back and forth and that kind of stuff. I would sooner die than have to do that myself, No, the news thing, though, I'm going to keep doing. I am going to keep doing the news thing. Oh, it was good. Oh, that's good. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Hold on, we're doing again the hello, Sash. Oh, she was playing. Okay, she stopped. She was grabbing her ball. She's got her little baby tennis balls and throwing them around. So it was funny. It was funny. Oh, anyway. All right, guys. No, I'm gonna keep doing the news. It's hard though. Like I've already found, the gun news came up. And how do you not talk about gun news? Today I simply updated people on the fact that this thing happened in Oklahoma. 4 people dead, shooter, the gun he used, and how many mass shootings we've had in America to date. That was literally, you can go check it out. That was literally the news I did. And the gun folks freaked out on me. That is so unfair. And I'm like, what? It was 15 seconds of facts. And that's what worries me about doing news overall is I don't know how the hell you do it in a way that people feel is objective. But at the same time, when we're talking about kids getting, little 10-year-olds getting murdered, how do you not take a side on that, And next week is going to be interesting too, because I'm going to have to report on this. Next week is the beginning of the hearings in the House by the January 6th committee, the committee about the insurrection. Those hearings begin next week, and it's going to be huge. That is going to be a huge story. Huge, huge, huge. And some folks aren't going to like that, but got to report on it. And, there's objective and there's objective. I'm not going to pretend like there's two sides in terms of what happened on January 6th. There's nothing you can do about it. That was bad. It was bad and it was dangerous. And, nothing in any case, but that's coming up next week. So that I'm going to be my channel. I'm going to have a lot of stuff on it. For you guys, I'll still do the majority about Ukraine. But if you are interested, I am happy to do updates about what's going on with the hearings, because again, it's so important. Well, that's an interesting point too. Yeah, Nathan. Well, Nathan, I was thinking Nathan's asking about the Moskva. Remember the boat that they turned into a submarine, the Ukrainians did, possible source of radiation or chemical killing the Dolphins. I was thinking of oil, at least. When they were mentioning possible oil in the water from ship sinking, I was thinking, well, there's the Moskva, it's oil and fuel. Radiation, who knows, but certainly fuel, which is bad, In any case, yes. So yeah, financial news too. That is true. Financial news, because I do follow the markets a lot, and I have for a long time. So I could certainly do financial news. I am not necessarily, but you know what? But I could do financial news though. I am not necessarily a PhD in economics, but I've been following the finance. I handle my own investments and my parents' investments and all of that, and have for years. So I've been following the financial news very closely. So I could at least update people on the news, even though I may not be an expert on, on oil futures or whatever the hell. But no, but that's true. I'll have to I keep an eye on that too. But I'll do updates on, and to some degree, I haven't wanted to get too far off. It's kind of been a tough call though, because the viewership has been dropping. Now, it dropped in part because TikTok hates us, but even on YouTube, the viewership was dropping, over time. And that does mean people are having kind of less of an interest in the topic. So that's a real issue, but at the same time, I don't think we're at the point yet where half the show is about something else. I don't think we're there yet in terms of what's going on with Ukraine, but yeah, my own crypto coin. I'm very interested in crypto. Actually, the Sasha coin. Exactly. The Sasha coin will be our pump and dump, Harvey. You and I can promote it to all the stars and then sell it, which is illegal, which we would not do. But anyway, but we'll see. Yeah. Well, I was going to say the time change. So I put up on my, we used to, and the thing is, quite literally 2/3 of the viewers on TikTok got wiped out in one day by TikTok. We had the Eurovision show. Sunday I was traveling. That Monday, we had 1/3 of the traffic that I was getting the week before, and it stayed that way. So TikTok did something. I guess they got upset about, Kalush Orchestra winning or something. But I did put a video on TikTok and asked folks to weigh in. It is at the top of my page, asking folks to weigh in. Actually, let me ask you right now, just for fun. I should have asked you guys on YouTube earlier. Hang on. I hate this. Clearly state your question. Well, this is useless. This poll thing makes it very hard. Okay, I was going to say I've got a video up where you can in the comments say whether 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern time is better. 6 p.m. is Eastern time is midnight Paris. 7 p.m. Eastern time is 1 a.m. On YouTube right now, just write it in the comments. I'm just curious for this. Now, mind you, you're the 7 p.m. crowd, so it's all the more interesting to me if you say 6 p.m. That's interesting. On TikTok, I'm going to set up a poll, but would it kill TikTok to let us just write a few words on the poll? Would that be so hard? I mean, seriously, TikTok, would it kill you? Let me look at this again. Yeah, the poll, they just won't let me pick so for the TikTok poll, we're going to have the first one be 6 p.m. and the second one be 7 p.m. So the first one, I guess, is a smiley face and the second one's a crying, but it doesn't matter. First is 6, second is 7. There's the poll. The first one is 6 p.m. The second one is 7 p.m. So red 6 p.m., blue 7, but whichever you prefer. I should have done it earlier when we had more people. We'll do another one. I can do it actually like tomorrow when we've got more people as well. So the first one is 6. The second one is 7 on TikTok there. See, because part of what I was thinking of was that for Americans, I thought for Americans it was better doing it a little bit later because I was afraid for the Americans starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, people are either just getting out of work or they're not out of work for another hour or 2 or 3, So I thought it was like a crazy time to be doing it and that we were favoring the Europeans, which was great, but I was afraid it was just totally bad for the Americans. But, who knows? And as I said, I do plan on, as time goes on, getting into other news and things. So there's that. But yes, so the red on TikTok is 6 p.m. So it was there and then it disappeared. That was very nice. I guess it disappears after a minute because TikTok is hateful, but it was like 43 6 p.m.s to 27 7 p.m.s. I'm surprised. That's interesting. I'm very surprised 6 p.m. won. Yeah. I mean, considering we started this at 7 p.m. and it's already almost 9 p.m. Eastern, but you still think 6 p.m. is better. That's surprising. Now, was that pretty much the consensus on here too? Okay, you guys are shocking me here. Are we all just a bunch of foreigners here or what? Tomorrow I can see what Biden, if Biden did anything interesting. Let me see kind of what Biden said and what the fallout is. Thomas, I can see about that. I mean, look, tomorrow's news analysis is going to be about what Democrats can do, if anything. So, most of you guys are saying 6 as well. All right. You know what then? I mean, let me think about it overnight, but I think it's almost a done deal because clearly more of you are saying 6 and this was a 7 p.m. show, which means it's not like I was thinking this is the 7 p.m. show. So people would say 7 because we wouldn't have the Sixers, but even on the 7 show, you preferred to have 6. You're not a foreigner. I know. Yeah. Feck. You're not a foreigner, but you say feck. Okay. We'll leave it at that. That's really interesting. Yeah. Thanks, Solak. I know. Yeah. It's a tough one. I just figured people would prefer later. Well, also, I wasn't sure whether TikTok overall might tap into more people later, but honestly, TikTok is so goofy anyway with this. It's impossible to know. It's impossible to know what works anyway. So, all right. Well, you know what? Okay. I mean, because 6 o'clock's fine for me because I can get done by 7:30, which isn't bad. All right. Well, you know what then? That's fine. I'm going to stick then. Let's do tomorrow at 6 p.m. then. That's fine. I mean, literally, this was overwhelming. I didn't think it was going to be over. We could do 6:30, but I feel like, what I worry about 6:30 is I just don't know whether that's confusing. Like 6:30, if we just kind of miss people, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, thank you, Christy, for that. I feel like, as always, Christy, I totally forget. Now, that's kind of cool. Is somebody writing in like, what the hell? Is that Thai? Not Thai. Is that Thai or something? I'm going to guess that's Thai. I have no idea what you're writing there, though, but it's kind of cool looking. Hope it's not spam because it looks pretty cool. Yeah, let's do 6. I know, but overwhelming for 6, guys. So let's do 6 p.m. tomorrow then, Friday. We'll switch back to 6, and then the weekend will be what it always is. At this point, we're doing 2 p.m. Eastern on weekends. But okay, I will go back to 6. As I said, this was overwhelming. I was very surprised. Wow. I mean, I could split the difference, but we're not doing 6:30. I think 6:30 just gets more confusing because like when it's 6, it's just more confusing, All right, Leon, it's drink time for you, Leon. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, it's overwhelming. Am I sure I'm getting a troll? What do you mean? Yeah, no, I'm going to stick to 6. But I mean, it's enough people here weighing in, including the regulars. Almost nobody said 7 for example, on YouTube. On YouTube, actually, Mrs. Mahalati, on YouTube, I can see all the comments. I get everybody's comments. You can't see everybody on YouTube. The YouTubers are all the regulars weighing in. They all like 6. So it's definitely the real people. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed you used the word troll. My mom would not know what a troll is, though you are much younger than my mom, nonetheless. Keep an eye on the authorities. Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, we're going to stick to 6. Okay, we're going to do 6. I know. No, this is like all my regulars too. Everyone's saying 6. Also, it's not clear what the trolls would want anyway, whether the trolls would want, buongiorno or buonasera, Cesaro? Cesauru. Oh, that's got to be Latin. That's why. Clearly Latin. You're 81. I thought it said 91 without my glasses. You're 81. Okay, that's more like it. Yeah, my mom is 92. I knew you were significantly younger than my mom. So to me, that still makes you very young at 81. Well, I think you know how this is anyway. Like the older your parents get, the less old seems old, Hello, Norway. We're actually wrapping up now, Norway. So sorry. Thank you, Bonnie. But I would have, Solak, I would have thought the same thing, that Pacific Coast, that people would want later. I thought for sure. Also, this is a show of people who join us at 7 p.m. Eastern. So, I mean, quite literally on YouTube, these are all the regulars, and all the regulars are saying, 85, 90% of them are saying 6 p.m. There are very few 7 p.m.s, which shocks me for being a bunch of people who came on a show at 7 o'clock. So, exactly. She's extremely down with the lingo at 81. Somebody, Mrs. Mahalati, somebody on TikTok is saying you're extremely down with the lingo for 81. Yep. And like I said, and a fabulous Persian cook. Oh, God. Xena's Army, not a bot. Yep. All right, guys. I know it's early, but I would think that's like too early, Tiffany. I mean, for most people, that was my fear, but I don't know. Maybe people are just taking off of work, I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's do that. We'll do 7 o'clock. I'm not 81. No, I'm not 81. My friend's mom is 81. Yes, I'm very good for 81. Don't tell anyone. I'm definitely not 81. No, thank you though. All right, guys, let's go. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. As soon as I get the bye-byes from you on TikTok, then I'll know you caught up. Tomorrow we're doing 6 p.m. Eastern. Same thing with you guys here. Thank you all. Although you guys are live anyway, so I can say goodbye. Okay, this is good, guys. This is good. I'm glad we figured out a time that works for all of us. So, all right. Thank you. Have a good night. I'm going to go watch Vampire Diaries.